All right, hello, welcome everybody to a video where I am going to talk directly to the developer of the indie title Dragon Extinction, a game in which I scored it really low just yesterday morning. Made my M.I.S.S series because all I really saw and felt was a bunch of cobbled together assets into a really nice looking game, but the game definitely lacks substance, lacks a heart, and lacks the desire, at least for me, to play the game. And he's charging $20 for it. So as you see here, yesterday, actually 2 days ago, October 16th, time goes by quick. This game, basically it was on its launch day. Before it actually launched, I made a M.I.S.S video after playing the game provided to me by the developer. And I don't know if some developers provide keys to content creators like myself, kind of expecting that, hey, I gave you the game, you need to give me a positive review. But with this developer, I really feel like this guy felt like probably didn't even check out my channel, probably didn't even see I had such a thing as M.I.S.S videos, and probably just assumed that by giving me a key to his game that I was going to, thumbs up his game and love his collection of Unity assets. So I do want to go ahead and try to be constructive in this video. I am going to fire back at the developer on things where I think he just doesn't seem to understand. How you doing, Brookie Bear? Brookie Bear saw part of this game when she came in as I was live streaming it the other day. So as we see, guys, I did make a M.I.S.S video. We have some fanboys, or we have probably the developer's alternate accounts giving it thumbs down. I do smell a little bit of fake reviews coming in on the Steam page. Let's go ahead and take a look at what I'm talking about here, guys. And I don't know if they're fake reviews or not. I can certainly see why people might see potential in this game. And it's probably why I'm offering to help this developer out, help him help himself. Because yes, I do think this developer has talent. I do think he has skills. And I do believe he put effort into the game. Is it as much effort as he claims? No, I don't think so. Not for a second. But we are going to go ahead and talk more about Dragon Extinction just because I feel like there's some things that, he obviously watched my first video or read my first, review and took it to heart. And it's certainly understandable for a new game on Steam. How you doing, Diane? Welcome to the stream, guys. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and take a look. We see that my review here, since this game came out a couple of days ago, it is getting 84% positive reviews. We do see that my review is the most helpful review so far. But anyway, guys, you see that I did, I didn't just write this game as shit. I did basically say that the problem with the game is that it is a nice looking assortment of Unity assets that he's purchased, and that he's assembled them into a very nice looking product that showcased well in the trailer. But I also said that I'm disappointed because there's zero story, no ultimate purpose or reason for playing the game, and that's the biggest problem with the game. I explained in detail what's wrong with the game, as well as the video, which I provided up here as well, showcasing why I don't like the game. I also said this game seems to have nothing but go kill X amount of enemies type quests over and over and over again until I guess you beat the game. So that was my point there. I also said there's the lack of purpose of story is hardly the only problem with the game. Every enemy, whether a hungry wolf or a towering troll, will simply stand in place and allow you to kill it without even noticing you at times. Sometimes they will attack back, but basically the enemies all have a very low AI. And hitboxes are also very problematic. It means that fighting is problematic and looks and feels bad. So the combat definitely needs a lot of work. And then I said, to make matters worse, the procedural generation dungeons that I went through, the randomness caused you to go down an empty hallway and have to backtrack, which is a pain in the ass and cumbersome. And then their boss mode is basically him just throwing a whole bunch of the same mob into a really small area where you have no room to kite them or even run away. So that is laziness on my part. And, I also challenged how many hours he said he took to make the game, because he said in a response on a forum, he basically said he worked up to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 years to make this game that we have, and I challenged him and said I don't buy that for a second, basically. I said also the $20 asking price here is I'd feel dishonest and corrupt. I said that I would feel dishonest and corrupt if I recommended this game, especially at the price. And we all know, anybody that watches my reviews knows that I base my score heavily on the overall value I feel the customer is getting. And so since value is 40% of every score I do, yeah, that's one reason this game made a paltry 1 out of 10 score. So here we see, guys, that the developer fired back at me with a response of his own last night. And I want to get to some of this. Diane says, I'm still doing better. Diane actually got COVID, Ricky Bear, if you're still here. So, but there's a couple of things I really want to go ahead and fire back at this developer for in his response to my review. So the developer says, first of all, there's no story yet on the store page, early access. It looks like you've only, yes, I know that none of your features, I did look at your features, I saw that you have no story. I also see that you're charging full price $20 for this game, okay? He goes on to say, also looks like you played only the content available in the free demo that anyone can try, so it's not like anything is being hidden about what the game is before purchasing. There is a basic story outline draft so far. The plan is to invest EA funds. I want you guys to listen to this. His plan is to invest early access funds that he makes here off Steam into hiring artists, animators, voice actors for the story and various improvements to get the game to full release. Okay, so we got to stop right here, guys. I am an indie developer as well. All right. And I know that when you release a game in early access, Steam goes into detail about the fact that you should not be launching your game in early access and charging a price for what you have, for what you hope the game will be 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. The price that you charge your customers for what you're offering should be based on what you're offering. Instead, we see this developer is charging a full $20 for what we're getting right here, which when you play the game feels like, I wouldn't say muddled bunch of assets, but there is a lot of problems with the game. There is no story, as he says right here, there is no story yet in the game. And so basically all you have is a bunch of fetch quests, a bunch of go kill 5 bears quests, kill 5 deer quests, stuff like that, which we know gets really boring really, really quickly. I'm also going to go into the game, guys, and point out some more specific problems that I have with this game and things I think the developer could easily fix to make this game be a better value. Pretty easy. So I'm going to give him solutions that I think would help him. Maybe other people will agree or not agree. I'm not saying he has to do it, but I've been a gamer my entire life, and I feel like the suggestions I can make to this developer would help him as long as he's willing to listen to my advice. It doesn't mean he has to do exactly what I say, but I think I can give him some suggestions that will definitely help others enjoy his game more and help him get better reviews, etc., etc. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get on to my response to, to this developer basically saying he wants to raise early access funds to make this game all that it can be. Okay, to the developer, to VEER, I guess is his name, to VEER. You should not be launching your game in early access as a fundraiser to make your game. That's what fundraising sites like, Kickstarter are for. So if you want to raise funds to develop your game, then you should be looking for indie game grants. You should be putting a demo, your demo that you have and your video up on like Kickstarter and raise funds that way for people that want to support your game. You are not supposed to be putting a game in early access and trying to charge full price for a game, with not empty promises, but with promises of what you want the game to be in the future. So what you're basically doing is charging $20 for a game that's worth like $5 now, in my opinion, and you're charging people 4 times as much money for a game, hoping to raise enough funds to fully complete the game. You should instead be charging people what the game is worth now, rather than trying to use Steam as a fundraiser. As for enemy standing still, it seems like you found an exploit. Oh, so because you had a bug in your game, I'm exploiting the game now. Now you say I found an exploit? No, Mr. Zyphier, I just played your fucking game and it's buggy as shit. Your enemies stand still when shot, when hit. They just stand there with no AI. It's not an exploit I found. I just played your fucking game as you developed it with your pretty assets off of Unity. To act like the bugs in your game, the lack of AI from your enemies in your game is because I'm exploiting your game, you are full of shit. You are as full of shit about this right here as you are about working all the hours for the last 2 years on your game. All right? So, quite frankly, a lot of the shit you're saying in your developer response pisses me the fuck off as a, gamer, as a lifetime gamer fan my whole life with an IQ above 12. All right? So, your lack of AI is because I found an exploit. Right. And then, of course, you basically go on to say that you've had a magical patch. This is what developers who release these kind of games always say. They always say, oh, I released a magical patch that fixes everything. Bullshit. I'm fixing to launch the game and we'll find out if enemies always attack me when I attack them, or if the combat is still shit, if enemy AI is still shit. But we'll go ahead and let you say that your magical patch fixed everything as far as the combat. Dungeon dead ends have randomly spawning chests, so there's not always pointless. And the bosses are more interesting in T4. Okay, so in Tier 4. We'll see about that. I haven't got that far yet. As for claiming that I lied, you simply misread and misunderstood what I wrote. Of course I did. It's my fault. It's my fault that you wrote that you were working 100 and something hours per week on this game for 2 years. That is my fault as a game critic who reviews your game and reads what you wrote. It's my fault for misunderstanding how you wrote the words. Of course it's my fault. Just like, your lack of enemy AI is my fucking fault, right? First thing you missed is around deadlines. Any person would be burnt out pretty quick doing 16/7 for a long period. Hey, I can agree. That's exactly what you said, though. That's what you said. That's exactly why red flags went above me, and I called you out for it. It's kind of funny that you don't admit to all this until it takes somebody like me calling you out on your bullshit before you come up with a response like this. If I hadn't called you out on it, you wouldn't be clarifying, would you? No, it takes somebody calling you out on your lies and your bullshit before you respond, trying to clear things up. And let's go ahead and say right now, on dead end alone, probably closer to 25 to 50 hours per week. Well, that's a hell of a lot different than the 100 plus hours a week you made it sound like on your forums, and we'll show people that here in just a second. But 25 to 50 hours per week for 2 years, you're still full of shit. There's no way that what you have right now took you 2 fucking years, an average of 35 or 40 hours a week. You're talking 4,000 hours. All you have to show for your game is a bunch of nicely assembled Unity assets. All right? I'm getting fired up because this is such bullshit. Anyway, let's go ahead. Before we go back and read the rest of this review, guys, because there's more I want to say about that, let's go ahead and take a look at what I'm bent out of shape about there. It's right here. It was highlighted. Premade Assets. I thought he deleted this shit to fucking try to protect himself. Let's go ahead and take a look at how he responded. So basically somebody's accusing him here. Why are you using pre-made Unity Store assets for all your characters? Because I'm not an artist and can't afford it yet. Now listen to this. There's a couple things I want to showcase in this whole article right here, this whole thread. He says, because I'm not an artist, I can't afford an artist yet, which is the reality for many small indie developers. Fine, I have no problem with what you're saying there. And I don't have an artist working for free. Calling that early access will raise enough funds to hire people, including the artist. Okay, let's just continue to go on. So the person that brought it up said it's just a lack of relevant skills and basically just a placeholder. If that's the case, then I suppose that's fine. But I've seen a lot of asset flips using those same assets, so seeing new games using them makes me suspicious as to whether or not they're asset flips. Okay, first of all, this is not an asset flip, but it is very asset reliant. I also have seen these same assets in many other games, including all the fox and dog, the deer and the wolves and the bears and stuff like that in this game are the same exact assets as you can see in Craftopia that just launched last month. So they are very popular assets used in a lot of games, and it does make people think that your game's an asset flip when they see the same fucking creatures and monsters and everything like that game after game after game after game on Steam. Now here's what I want to get to. This developer says, first of all, there's nothing wrong with using pre-made assets as long as you put in effort, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, it seems debatable. You consider a game an asset flip if only a few months were spent on it. I wonder why he even mentions that only a few months were spent on it. Could it be that he actually only spent a few months? That's kind of what I suspect. Anyway, he says, as for this game, I've been working on it for nearly 2 years, and not slowly either. So look at this, guys. He says he's been working on this game. He says, as for this game, I've been working on it for nearly 2 years, and not slowly either. Whenever I can work from the moment I wake up until I go to sleep with 2 short breaks for lunch and supper. Around deadlines, I usually end up working about 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, so about 112 hours per week. So he's not talking about a real job. He's talking about this game, because that's all he mentions here. As for this game, I've been working on it. And then he goes into detail. 2 years. Only 2 small breaks for lunch and supper every day. Up to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. So about 112 hours a week. When things are less busy, of course, I take some break to spend with my girlfriend. But most days I end up working 12 hours. And as many days in the week as I can. So probably a minimum of 40 hours a week, but up to 112 hours per week. Also, I'm a professional programmer with a degree and experience working on AAA titles. I call bullshit on this as well. This guy says I don't know about a degree, but as far as him saying that he worked on Dead Rising 3, Dragon Age Inquisition, and Mass Effect Andromeda, those are big-time AAA games. Okay, big-time AAA games. If you're going to state it, if you're going to state that you worked on those games, I want to see proof. Pics or it didn't happen. What did you do to work on them? Playing the game and posting in their forums is not working on them or give you experience or give you the privilege of saying this here. So I will call bullshit right here, and I will admit I'm wrong if you can supply some kind of evidence that you've actually worked on these games that you speak of right here. Show me proof, and I will apologize. Otherwise, I'm going to say you're full of shit, Mr. Developer. So anyway, we go back here, and let's go back to the store page. Yeah, I'm fired up about this one, guys. I hate dishonest fucking developers. I hate them. I hate dishonest developers. And I smell dishonesty from a mile away here. Anyway, so he says that as far as you claiming that I lied and misread and misunderstood what I wrote, of course, it's my fault that he wrote all that about how many hours he worked on the game. First thing you missed is around deadlines. Any person with burnout with 16/7 would be for a long period. Exactly. That's why I called you out. Secondly, those hours include working 30 to 40 hours per week in a different game company to cover expenses, life expenses, as I haven't been able to pay myself since I've been reinvesting back into my own games. On this game alone, I'm probably closer to 25 to 50 hours per week. So notice how that when I call him out, he suddenly goes from up to 112 hours a week. Oh, actually, it's only 25 to 50. But do you think that we would have ever known this if I wouldn't have called him out on his bullshit? I'm just saying. And then he says closer to 80 hours per week near deadlines. The longest I ever worked on it was 1 day, 20 hours straight. He says, I enjoy developing this game, which is surprising considering how long I've been working on it. And the majority of people that have tried the game seem to enjoy it as well. In fact, some of them love it. Some of our top players have over 100 hours, up to 200 hours. This is more bullshit. Leaving the game running in your taskbar over the weekend or while you sleep or while you work for during a week doesn't count as played hours. So your fans, your friends that are leaving the game running to make it look like they have 200 hours in the game, that doesn't count. Just saying. I know how this works. He says, this review is basically turning into a witch hunt and making people think I'm a bad person, which I don't appreciate. Well, I don't appreciate dishonest, full of shit devs, right? That want to act like I'm attacking him. Now you've pissed me off. In my first review, I wasn't attacking you. Now I'm attacking you. See the difference? He says, I'm working my ass off to make a good game, and I even delayed the release 2 months to improve the quality. 2 months is probably all you've been working on it, if we're honest. I want to know when you bought those fucking assets. That would tell us when you started working on the game. It's in a much better state now than it was even a month ago. I'm sure it is. If you've been working on it for a couple of months, I'm sure it's a lot better now than it was a month ago. But it's still not good, and it's still not worth $20. Let's go ahead and be crystal clear about that right now. He said, I'm sure you had good intentions with your review, but all this will likely accomplish is scaring away potential customers who might have otherwise tried the demo and decided for themselves whether they like the game and want to buy it. And likely that will reduce the amount of funds available to complete this game and reach its full potential. So this part right here is what really infuriates me and is what sparked me making this video right now. This part right here. This guy crying boo-hoo because I gave his game a negative review because it's a bad game. It's in a bad state right now. The combat is trash. The fucking game has nothing but go kill 10 wolves, go kill 5 bears, go kill 5 deers over and over and over again, and I'll demonstrate that to you again. The game is not worth $20 even if you can connect to other players and play it, right? So you saying that me giving you a negative review, all your review is going to do is accomplish it scaring away potential customers who might have otherwise been suckered into giving me money, is basically how I read that. You're mad at me because I didn't let you sucker people into playing your game and giving you more money, which you promised to use for artists and voice actors and, you know, new people making new assets and all kinds of other shit. The truth is, any of us that have seen these early access games and all these empty promises by developers such as yourself, we know better, right? We know that you're trying to make as much money as you fucking can, and then you're going to laugh all the way to the bank, right? Because you're using Steam as your fundraiser. You're using Steam as your Kickstarter. And yes, I saw that you had a fundraiser that failed, all right? But you don't see me. I also had a fundraiser on Kickstarter that failed with one of my games. But you don't see me going up, throwing it into early access, charging $20 for it, promising a whole bunch of bullshit that you know damn well is never going to happen. So you basically crying and saying that because I gave your game a negative review, that's why your game's going to fail and why you're going to fail to make as much money as you want? That's what infuriates me. Yeah, you thought you was being attacked before? Now you're being attacked, buddy. Now I'm going to give you the full truth and how I really feel. But with that, I do want to go ahead and say, when I started this video, I told you that for whatever reason, I do feel like you might just have hope. You might have the potential to turn this into a game that's at least a lot more fun than it is. You might have the potential to change my M.I.S.S series negative review into a positive review. If you can listen to my criticism, not my criticism, if you can listen to my criticism, yes, but if you can listen to a couple of small suggestions, show me that you actually care. Show me that you actually want to make a game worth playing. I mean, to people besides your fanboys that you have touting your game and giving it positive reviews right now. Because I will tell you, I've seen this time and time and time again, Mr. Developer. This 84% positive review is going to go down. A month from now, this is probably going to be closer to 42%. All right? So let's be honest about that right here. I'm talking about when people like me play the game, when people that honestly don't like the game play your game, that aren't fanboys or friends of yours on Steam, or potentially your alternate accounts rating up your own game, which I hope you know, by the way, I'm not throwing any accusations out, Mr. Developer, but if you are using alternate accounts that are owned by you to positively review your own game, that's also against Steam policy, and you can be banned for that. I'm not saying you're doing it. I'm just saying if you are, if you're using your own accounts, you know, maybe accounts that have one review or a couple of reviews that really don't have any games on them, if some of these are your own accounts, you can be banned off the Steam platform for positively reviewing your own games. I just want to go ahead and let you know. Again, I'm not throwing any accusations out, Mr. Developer. I'm just saying. Let's go ahead and play your game. While we read the comments, we'll launch it. Rookie Bear says, let's see. If he is going to have a half-done game, then it should be half price. Can't charge full price for something that isn't done. It's like charging someone full price for a job you never finished. Exactly. I wouldn't even pay half the price for it the way it is right now. Maybe $1.99, to be honest, maybe $3. If he worked on those games, exactly, Brookie Bear, that's the thing I'm saying. If he worked on the games he said he worked on, how could he not have the money to make this game more playable? How could he have this game in such a bad state if he has such AAA game experience? That's why I'm calling him out. That's why I'm saying I don't believe he worked for those, worked like he said he did on those games. Rookie Bear says, no duh, the review is meant to warn people that it's not worth $20. Yep, but he wants to cry, cry victim. He wants to cry victim because I gave him a negative review and he doesn't like it. Rookie Bear says, ironic that the game comes out during the COVID instead of him working more on it to make it better. Money isn't for making a game better, it's to line his pockets. Yeah, probably right. So when we launch the game, guys, we see that we only have, if you go into create a character here, you do only have the ability to create 2 classes. There's only 4 classes in the game, and you can go male or female or whatever, and you have all these different colors. Some of these colors are really weird, if we're being honest, about his eyes. Let's see. Sometimes you can't even, or eye color right here, sorry. Yeah, so some of these eyes just look really weird and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, I guess the asset's fine, but some of this stuff just looks really fucking weird. But whatever, we're just going to go ahead and go back here, guys. There we go. Let's just go in and play our mage. And I want to show you some of the problems I had to the developer now that I've calmed down and responding to the developers what I sense as total bullshit, right? And acting like a victim because I didn't like his review. Acting like he's not going to make nearly as many thousands of dollars in early access as he had hoped. Like I'm going to... He's basically trying to blame me. I see what this is the developer and his response to me. He's basically trying to blame me for him never finishing the game. He's already looking for an excuse for him never finishing the game, right? That's exactly what he's doing. He's looking for somebody to blame for him not ever finishing the game or for the game not winding up what it should be. And that's what pisses me off. He wants to blame me because I negatively reviewed his game at launch. He wants to blame me for this game not good. Now it's not going to be able to be all that he's been spouting that it's going to be. Yeah, that's fucking bullshit. And you guys can understand, I think, that why I got pissed off at that. You're bullshitting yourself, Mr. Developer. Now, at this point, if the developer ever watches this video, then he will probably already be super defensive and not willing to listen to any of my suggestions. But we see here that when you do the tutorial, after you do this stupid tutorial, you come into this city here. And it looks like you can walk up this path and walk up those stairs, but you can't. It's an invisible wall. You can't walk down there into what looks like a pretty nice little town and explore. No, it's blocked off by invisible walls. Instead, this is part of the reason I hated the game right from the get-go. I'm dropped in here. I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck to this little teeny circle. Super restricted, right? And I have all of my NPC vendors, so I can buy a couple of different potions and a couple of different things at each vendor. But notice how there's a total lack of any life. The characters don't say anything to me. He has all these assets, but he doesn't have any of them walking around, acting like it's a city with any kind of life in it. These are just static bots just sitting here, and this game has no fucking life. Alright, I do like this chest. He put a chest here so that you can open it if it'll ever open, and it does have storage for your character and shared inventory, so I like that, so you can share inventory with your other characters. But I can't go anywhere. I'm restricted to this small little area. So, to the developer, if you want to fix this and make this a game that not only me, but other people will probably appreciate, is do away with this completely. I understand you want to have NPCs, and it's fine to have the same NPCs selling the same kind of stuff. That's fine. But instead of doing this and having these invisible walls right here in a small circle, this doesn't feel like a living town. This doesn't feel like an RPG that I want to play already. You want to make this into something people want to play? take these same assets, these same buildings, and put them on a little town on some dirt roads, not a little circle. Sure, put some houses in there that you can't interact with, but make a small little town. I'm not saying you have to make fucking New York City. Make a small little village where there's a couple of different roads, 3 or 4 different roads, a small little area where you have to go down one road to get to this vendor and up and down another road across the town to get to this vendor. Yeah, it might take the player 30 seconds to get there. That's fine. It doesn't need to be this compact. In fact, the game being this compact makes me feel really restricted and like I don't even care to play this game. That's just me being honest. Turn this into a small little town. Give the town some life with a few NPCs walking. They can just fucking be walking from one place to the other, turn around, and go back. And of course, make them interactable so that if you click on them, you hit E on them, they give you some bullshit story. Hey, the weather's nice today. How are you feeling? Or whatever, you know? So that would also give your starting town a lot more life and be a lot more inviting for your player. I know, after I give you these suggestions, you'll tell me that you have this planned all along, you just don't have the money for it, yada, 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 and that you've been working for 2 years, 40 hours a week on what we have right here. And you can understand why I call bullshit. So then, here's another thing I hate. So instead of me going to any of these NPC vendors that I'm talking about, maybe you placing around and getting a quest from somebody, so what I'd like to see is standard RPG, what I would expect from an RPG, where I go up to Lucy, who's walking down, and she basically says, oh my god, my kids are starving, can you please go kill 5 bears for me so we can eat the bear meat, that'll last us all winter. That would invite the player into the game. It would make the player feel important. It makes the player feel like they got a quest from an NPC, yeah, but at least it feels like it's somebody in the world. Instead, what you've done is you've tied everything into this central point here at this quest billboard. And when you enter this quest billboard, this is where you connect online. So now I'm wanting to play a single player game, and I have to host a game just to play the game. Just to do any fighting at all, I have to host a game. Well, what if I just want to play by myself, right? So let's go ahead and go back. So the developer, well, this is public, yeah. Let's make sure it's private. Let's go ahead and host my own game, which this doesn't make any sense. I select the difficulty here. So here's where we have the difficulty of the quest, right? And here, once I select that, I get 4 choices. I can go into the procedural dungeon, which is a mess, by the way. Or we have quest here where we go, see what I'm talking about? Hunt 5 wolves, hunt 5 boars, hunt 5 moose. Well, maybe this one will be different. Maybe this one will be something where we go on an epic journey and kill a, whatever. Nope. Kill 5 bandits, kill 5 wolves, kill 5 boars, kill 5 moose. That's exactly almost the same one as this, except for the goblins are bandits. Wow. What an amazing difference. And what's this one? Oh. Same thing, 5 bandits, wolves, bears, and moose. So I can either go into the dungeon, right, which is bullshit, or I can do basically the same quest, just in different maps. Different little maps, might I say. So let's go ahead and go to the forest, and let's go kill some of these amazing animals, shall we? Yeah, the character generation isn't too bad, Brookie, you're right. But I'll give him that it's not 100% great. It's like they're zombies. So here we go, guys. Now we're in the world. And this is a nice little, a little map. But again, we're restricted by invisible walls. And every map's going to give us loot here, right? So let's go ahead and show you. This is why it's also hard to believe that he's been working on this game for 2 years, 40 hours a week or whatever he says, right? So you just saw me collect those potions, right? And they went down to my hotbar, right? So let's go ahead and hit escape here, guys, and let's go ahead and abandon the quest. I mean, it's real hard to break these games that, I know this is an amazing game and he's charging $20 for this and it's great, like all the people that review the game say and all. But, and I know the developer is going to fire back saying, I'm exploiting his game here. Let's go ahead and click on this. Let's go back to the same forest. Yeah, exactly, Brookie Bear. Hey, look at that! We can get 2 more potions. Yay! Hey, let's go ahead and abandon the quest again. You guys see anything wrong with this picture? Yeah, it's boring. But this is about the most exciting thing to do. I mean, I could go around and kill these animals in really bad-looking combat if I wanted to, I suppose. And I'll show you how bad the combat is here in just a moment. I'm just showing that it's hard, why it's hard to believe that this developer has been working on this game for 2 years, 40 hours a week. Hey, look at that. We could do this all day long, guys. We could end up finding a million potions. Great, right? All right. So let's see if the combat has been fixed to where if I fire a spell at an enemy, see if it doesn't go through him, see if we can actually kill this bandit. Wow. Okay. So notice that there's nothing here that tells me that my fireball won't reach the target. So like if you play World of Warcraft, for example, and you're not going to reach it, there should be something here that says, hey, your spell is not going to reach that. So after I fire off the spell, maybe there should be a voice like World of Warcraft that says, you're too far away, something like that. But there's nothing indicating to me that my spell is not reaching that bandit. Instead, it looks to me like it hit him right in the head and did nothing. So let's go ahead and get a little bit closer since the game doesn't give me that information. Wow. Does this look like great combat, guys? What you're seeing here, are you guys like excited? Oh, okay. Now, the developer said that he fixed this in a patch last night. He said he fixed it so that enemies, when hit, will aggro and attack. Do you guys call this fixed? He's already taken 128 damage. Wow. The developer said he fixed this last night in that magical patch that we speak of. And I'll show you where he said that here in a moment in case you guys missed it. Wow. Isn't this exciting? Right? Now, if I go up there, yeah, all 4 of the freaking assets are probably going to attack me, and it's going to be mindless button mashing until I die. Because it's just the problem with the combat, and I'll show you what the combat's like as soon as I kill a couple of these guys. Yeah, I can see this is really fixed. Yeah, the developer said he fixed this. Let's try a different spell. Again, not reaching, it looks like. Doesn't this look great, guys? Get a little bit closer. Oh, now we have some aggro. That guy that I hit, though, he's still not aggroing. He's still not coming at me. Alright, so let's just attack the one guy that's coming at me. Doesn't this look like, like super exciting stuff? I mean, I've never played a game more fun than this. The over-exaggeration of the assets he bought for the lightning spell, like the impact there, that's way too much. You've turned those effects up way too much. So I understand you bought that asset, you think it looks really cool, but yeah, you've used your drop-down menu and it's too much, man. Right. So let's go ahead and take one of our handy-dandy potions that we had. And let's go ahead and continue to attack this idiot. Yep, clearly fixed. Some of this is feeling more solid than what I've seen a couple of days ago when I reviewed it. But as we can see, this game is still just a nightmare to play. The developer said he fixed, and we already have enemies respawning. For fuck's sake. I haven't even had a chance to take them all out. But they're already respawning, chasing me all over. Now they're aggroing, but when I hit them for 128 damage with a fire spell or a lightning spell, they don't even flinch. And the developer said he fixed this, I'm just saying. So, yeah, he has a nice little map here. And he has nice little maps for all 4 of your different biomes. And I'm sure that he probably didn't even create this fucking map. He probably bought this map, if we're being honest, right? And so then he's placed all these enemies into this map, and he says this is what he's been working on for 2 years, 40 hours a week. Because it obviously takes a lot of time to buy a map asset like this, 4 map assets with different biomes, and then place all these assets that you purchased, you know, onto the map, right? And I'm just guessing that he bought this map asset. I don't know, but I would guess that he bought this whole map, yes. So there we go, guys. Now you kind of see what I'm talking about. You've already seen plenty. And that gives the developer something to work on as far as like changing that restricted in area, you know, for the starting area. At least do that. But I want to go ahead and show you in his response where he said he fixed that combat. Let's go ahead and show that again. I think I already said it. As for the enemies standing still, it seems like you found an exploit, which I'm pretty sure I've already fixed. Yes, as we clearly see, right? See what I mean about this developer, me saying this developer is full of shit? There you go. That is a full of shit developer, right? So nothing he says I'm going to believe. I'm certainly not going to believe this 50 hours a week stuff for 2 years as well. I'm not going to believe the, you know, working for, to make AAA fucking games, like, you know, Dragon Age Inquisition and the other games that he mentioned. Like, I think you guys can see why I'm fired up, especially at him basically trying to use me as the excuse as to why this game's going to fail. No, this game's going to fail because you released it in early access way too early. You're going to get a lot more negative reviews than just mine. And now that you've pissed me off, I'm sure your game is going to get a lot more attention. Good or bad. I don't know if it's going to mean more sales for you, more negative reviews. I don't know. But you did this yourself. I just reviewed your game and gave honesty about what your game is. To be honest, it doesn't do you a lot of good if I buy your game and give you fanboy praise saying the game is amazing just as it is, when it's, you know, obviously not, when there is no AI, when there are problems with the game. And yeah, he has a degree in programming and has been working on AAA titles such as Dead Rising 3, Dragon Age Inquisition, and Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda. So those 3 games are the games that he said he's worked on. And again, remember in this, he basically says, he doesn't mention anything about work. He's talking all about, as for the game, I've been working on it 7 days a week, up to 112 hours per week, up to 16 hours per day, 7 days a week. Mentions nothing about that work time, including his real job, which he later clarifies when I call him out on his shit in my M.I.S.S video, M.I.S.S number 11. So, just doing what I do best, guys. Calling out the bullshit that some of these, what I would call corrupt indie developers like to spout. And the fact that he played the victim and acted like I'm the reason his game is going to fail now. That pisses me off, and that's what sparked this whole video. Him acting like my negative review is the reason his fucking game is going to fail. How about this instead, Mr. Developer? How about using my negative review as motivation to fix your game, fix the problems, and stop looking for excuses on a way to weasel out of making your game. Novel concept, I know. Let's see how professional you are. Let's see if you really are a developer who's worked on AAA games. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. This has been Zaxtorian99. Be sure you comment down below. Let me know how you feel. Take care, everybody.